Welcome to my dojo. This is Kung Fu Pizza Party, and I'm your host, Brandon Knight. And today, there is one person in particular that I would like to talk to in this episode. One person in particular who I think needs to hear what I'm about ready to say. Here on Kung Fu Pizza Party, I seek to deliver high-flying action in 30 minutes or less and serve up some wisdom one slice at a time. So let's just get right into it. May I have a word with you, James Gunn? I would like to talk to you about a potential opportunity. I have nothing to complain about yet when it comes to the DC relaunch that you are spearheading. I just want to present to you a case to get more of us, the martial art moviegoer, interested in what's coming out here in the new DC era. You've already got me. Let me just make that part clear, Mr. James Gunn. Can I call you James Gunn? I want to make that clear. I'm already invested. I am a DC fan. But I think there is a possibility that you could appeal to us, the wider audience of martial art, movie, pop culture consumers, with what's coming up on the DC universe, DCU, as I think it's now being called, versus the DC EU. We dropped the E. Now, for those of you who don't know what's been going on in the DC movie world, I'll try to save you. I mean, again, I only got 30 minutes to do this episode, but I'll save you a lot of the detailed history of what's been going on since I was in high school. The short version of what's going on right now is that the cinematic universe is being relaunched this year. It's already, some of the groundwork has already been laid. There's been, some retconning here and there with the Peacemaker show, Blue Beetle, the first show of the new era with the Creature Commandos has already been launched, but the first movie, the first cinematic part of this new era is coming out in July with Superman. There's a new Superman movie, and I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes. Yet another Superman movie. Oh my gosh. Yes, there's a new Superman movie, and the trailer came out mid to late December. It was right around the same time that Karate Kid Legends trailer came out. And I just gotta say, James Gunn, can I call you James? I just gotta say, well done. You are coming in hot for this first movie. It looks amazing. I know that there was people out there already complaining because of course they were. It's a DC film. It doesn't matter if it's not Marvel, then people are just going to complain. If it's not the MCU, people are just going to complain about it because they will complain about the Sony Spider-Man movies too. If it's not the MCU, people are just going to complain about it. But overwhelmingly, what I have heard is what I experienced of, oh my gosh, this looks so good. The music, it's right. The costume, great call. You put Crypto to Superdog in it. Well done. Super Pets make everything better. And of course, we've got some other additional characters: Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, Lex Luthor, a whole bunches of characters. And of course, Mr. Terrific. How could I forget Mr. Terrific? And of course, Metamorpho. I know I already said that, but you just can't help yourself with those B characters, can you? It's not like you didn't direct the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Yeah, you just can't help yourself with those quirky B characters. How dare you make me care about Polka Dot Man and the Suicide Squad? How dare you do that to me? But it looks great. It looks like we're coming out hot in this first movie. And I know there's already a whole slate of movies, TV shows, rumored projects. And hey, I'm grateful to see that there's an overseer that's got a direction and the plan is being worked out. Love it. I haven't had that for DC in a long time, it seems like. So I'm excited for that. But I just want to present to you a case that, again, you can appeal to us, the martial art moviegoer, by utilizing DC's character catalog and bringing us some representation that, for lack of a better word, it hasn't gone well in other cinematic universes. That's right. the martial art superhero has not been represented well in the MCU. It just hasn't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know some of you are like, hello, Blade, the Daredevil Netflix series. Here's the thing, though. Those aren't MCU now, are they? No, they are not. They are retconned now into the MCU, but they're not MCU projects, were they? And even if they were, let's not forget Iron Fist also exists. Yeah, they do. When it comes to what the MCU has done with martial art characters, there's Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, which is a movie that is indeed watchable, but that's been about it. George St. Pierre plays that one character that's like a French kickboxing martial art villain in two of the Captain America projects, and he's barely in either one of them, so there's that, I guess. But, outside of that, you kind of have to look outside the MCU. And again, you got Blade and you got Daredevil, which are very good, especially that first Blade movie. And I let's not forget, most iconic of them all is when Dolph Lundgren played Punisher in that 80s movie. You didn't know that, did you? Average superhero fan at the box office, you didn't know that Dolph Lundgren played Punisher. Now, did you? We should probably review that one at some point here on the show. So I am here to argue that James, can I call you Jimmy? Your old stomping grounds at the MCU hasn't done a very good job of trying to represent martial artists, martial arts superheroes, and you have a great opportunity here with DC to bring in a whole slew of martial art characters. There's a whole bunch of martial art characters in the DC. Obviously, the most well-known one is, if you use the correct backstory, yes, Batman is a ninja. Which, to be fair, I'm getting major Superman the Animated Series vibes from this Superman movie, so if you want to do Batman the Animated Series, which did have Batman as a ninja as part of the origin, fine by me. No skin off my nose. Batman's my favorite superhero after all. But the thing about DC's superhero back catalog is that it is truly a gold mine of B characters. Ooh. And again, we've already established, Jimmy, can I call you Jim, that you do love your B characters, don't you? You love a little quirky B superhero tossed into the mix to help move the plot along. Let's not forget, you made a whole TV show around Peacemaker after all. I still can't forgive you for making a good show about that character. And there's just, DC has so many options when it comes to B superhero, vigilante, gray characters that you could possibly use in your new DC universe. Richard Dragon, Lady Shiva, both of those. I would love a Richard Dragon. But I think even more that you would love doing, the Question. Come on, be honest with me. You're not going to take up the opportunity? You're not going to pick up on the opportunity to use a superhero who doesn't have a face? That's got you written all over it. You used Weasel after all. Like, you... the Question? No face. Use that Denny O'Neil storyline with him, Richard Dragon, and Lady Shiva. Like, that would be pretty good stuff. I think, at least. And I think, deep down inside, Jim, you know I'm right. Because can you remind me for a second? Who was that reoccurring B supporting character in Peacemaker? Oh, that's right, Judo Master. Judo Master was in that series, wasn't he? Judo Master, a character that reminds us that at one point in time we did not give a rip about the names we gave superheroes. Judo Master. Yeah. Oh, you already know that there's so many options here on the table for B superhero characters to help round out your cast. By no means am I demanding you to make a Justice League of just martial artist characters. If you wanted to, I wouldn't complain. But you don't have to make Richard Dragon the movie, although you probably could. It sounds like something you would do. You don't have to do those things, but you know the opportunity is there to use these characters to fill out your universe. And along with that, there's still a couple more we haven't even gotten to yet. And the few that I still have left to talk about here are ones that superhero fans are going to pop for. Because what's one thing that movie watchers love more than anything else? What is something that geeks love more than anything else? To complain. We love to complain. What's the second thing that we love to do the most? We love to see continuity, especially when stuff is being retconned and brought in from other intellectual properties. I just talked about the whole Blade and Daredevil thing a little bit ago. I mean, let's face it, folks. We all popped for George Clooney showing up at the end of The Flash as Bruce Wayne. They did it. They worked us. And we fell for it and we enjoyed it. The only time we've ever enjoyed George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. So what do? Knowing that we, the nerds, love continuity, love seeing things like that come back into play, well, there's a couple things. There's a couple characters you could lean into here. You could go recast Karen Fukuhara as Katana from not the Suicide Squad, but just regular Suicide Squad movie. Bring her back as Katana, another staple DC martial art character, or I would argue even more than that, you could bring back Michael J. White as Bronze Tiger. Michael J. White has portrayed Bronze Tiger in the Arrowverse TV series. He's done the voice work for the character in several different DC animated films. I'm just saying, I would lose my mind if Michael J. White showed up as Bronze Tiger in one of your films. Again, it's not that hard. I'm right. And actually, as I'm sitting here talking about it, there's one that just popped into my mind that I completely forgot about. Wild Mutt. Another reminder that, boy, we really did not spend a lot of time on superhero names back in the day. Wild Mutt, that boxer turned superhero. I mean, there's just so many options here on the tables. Great characters, by the way. This isn't like the deepest of deep cuts like Polka Dot Man, but this is characters that most average DC fans are going to be at least somewhat familiar with, depending on what they have read in the past. I'm certain people will know The Question of all of these. They'll know The Question, and they will know probably Bronze Tiger and maybe Katana from the previous Suicide Squad film. Wild Mutt, Richard Dragon, Lady Shiva, The Question, Bronze Tiger, Katana. There's a lot of opportunities here. You could take Judo Master and run hog wild with him as well. There's opportunity here to expand beyond what you've already done with Judo Master and to provide content for us, the martial art moviegoer, that the other guys, they're not really trying that hard. Have you heard anything about another Shang-Chi movie after all? That's what I thought. Anyway, whatever you end up doing, I just want you to know, James Gunn, I'm excited for the DCU. I am. I'm excited for the Superman movie. I haven't started Creature Commandos yet, but I'm finishing up a few shows to then jump into it. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see Michael J. White back. Because of all of the ones I've listed here today, I feel like he's the best option. Bring back Michael J. White as Bronze Tiger. Ball's in your court, Jim. Ball's in your court. Well, listeners, that's really all I have to say here today, and that's all I have to say to you, James Gunn. That's all I've got. Just laying it out for you. A lot of characters and a lot of opportunity here and a whole new fan base that you could grab and force Marvel to have to put out some better content in this world. Because that is something that us pro wrestling fans know. That when there's good content, that makes the other guys go, we got to put out better content. So let's push each other here a little bit. It's good for the consumer then. But that's all I've really got to say here, listeners. I know this is a very, very short episode of Kung Fu Pizza Party. I'm 30 minutes max. I got this episode to you very quickly, and you're welcome. You're welcome. And listeners at home, I can't tell you what to do with... I mean, I usually do tell you that you can rate and review this show wherever you get your podcasts, or that you can share this episode with a friend who you think needs to know, James Gunn does have a great opportunity here to grab up some great DC characters and make some great martial art content for everybody. I guess I can also say you could tag James Gunn in a post about this episode, tag the show as well, but maybe tag him in a comment. Share the link on social media, tag him, tag the show as well so I can see it as well, and who knows? Maybe if enough of us say, excuse me, may I have a word, James Gunn? Maybe our wishes will come true. It works for Zack Snyder after all. So let's see what we can do here, folks. Can we get Michael J. White back as Bronze Tiger? Can we get Lady Shiva? Only time will tell. Thank you all for listening. I've already said those other things. Make sure, if you haven't yet already, to follow the show on Instagram at Kung Fu Pizza Party, where you can stay up to date on what's going on here on the show and participate in weekly conversations as well. Probably talk about who's everybody's favorite martial art DC character after this episode comes out. And along with that, what else is going on? Well, I guess since we've got some time, I'll remind you all that Kung Fu Pizza Party is a part of the Anazao Ministries podcast network, where you can catch other great original content like my sister show, My Seminary Life, where I talk all things faith and ministry. There's also other great geeky podcasts on here like Sismac Geekology, Why I Don't Like, and Friday Night Frights, and whole bunches of other options. And who knows what the rest of 2025 holds for the network. We're actually in the works of hopefully adding a few new shows here as the year goes on, but only time will tell to see what happens. And if you're interested in knowing what's been going on, what will be happening here on Kung Fu Pizza Party in 2025, make sure you go back and listen to last week's episode, the Coming Soon 2025 edition, where I run down kind of my expectations for Karate Kid Legends, Mortal Kombat 2, and Love Hurts, along with going into a handful of rumored projects that somehow all have Donnie Yen attached to them. And then I also talk about some of the ideas I have for this year to expand beyond just the movie reviews and these more topical conversations like this one here today. And don't worry, listeners, like I said in that episode, I know it's been a long run of these topical episodes. Movie reviews are coming back soon, most likely next week. Most likely we'll be back with another good round of movie reviews. I'm excited for it, and I'm sure you all are too. But thank you for listening. This has been Kung Fu Pizza Party, where I've been delivering high-flying action in 30 minutes or less and served up some wisdom, one slice at a time.